Good morning to you. Happy Monday. It is Monday, December 23rd. It is a beautiful sunny morning here in Northern California. Since it's Christmas week, I thought it would be a good week to talk about miracles. There's a framework in one of the coaching methods that I wrote. It's a framework where I put you through a little bit of an education, then I invite you to write in this framework, and then it's a framework that you're supposed to keep with you every day and you read to yourself every day. And what you're writing are statements where you are declaring who you are. It's an exercise in developing yourself. And one of those statements for mine that I wrote about the life that I'm designing and developing for myself, it says, I commit to looking for evidence of miracles and inviting more of them into my life. Our lives are full of miracles if we open our eyes to them. And I think there are so many lessons in how we approach our lives when we open ourselves up to the possibility of miracles. What is a miracle? Miracles are extraordinary events that we can't fully understand. Something happens, we don't understand it, and we say, that is a miracle. I go out, I find some good soil, I plant a seed, I water it, and before you know it, there's a tree. It's a miracle. Now, I don't know how to create a tree. I just know that if I plant the seed and I water it, I get a tree. I don't have to know the intricacies of what takes place to create that tree. That's not part of the arrangement that I've created here, that the world has created with me. The hard part of the deal is with the universe. It's with the natural forces of the universe. You need to know how to create the tree. That's our deal. I plant the seed, you create the tree. It's a miracle. It's the kind of miracle where there's a partnership between us and life. It's also a partnership that requires a degree of letting go, of detaching from the outcomes, and just trusting that if we do our part, life is going to do our part. That's not always easy for us to do, is it? We human beings, we love certainty. When we enter into an agreement with another person or an organization, we like to know exactly what each party is responsible for. What are you going to do? What are you expecting me to do? And if this agreement doesn't go the way we want it to, how do we get out of it? That's the basic parts of any agreement. We love certainty. But that's not the kind of agreement that we have in life, is it? The partnership that we have with life requires all of our commitment, all of it, and no guarantees on the other side. If I do this, I don't know how it's going to turn out. There's no guarantee. You put in the work, you sprinkle in some passion, you allow time to pass, and you get your results, right? Maybe. Sometimes we need a miracle. I was watching a recording of an old seminar, which is something that I do a lot. A very famous speaker from the 80s and 90s, very, very famous, and he was talking about the simplicity of success. And I think it was probably a great time to talk about the simplicity of success back in the 80s and 90s when there was a lot more certainty. Things didn't seem to be as uncertain as they are today. But he was talking about, he said, life is basically an equation. You plant the seed, you get the tree, and that's that, right? It all comes back to your personal responsibility. You just do what you need to do, and you're going to get the outcome that you expect to get. And that sounds great coming from a motivational speaker. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel good. It gives you a sense of personal power. It gives you a sense of certainty about life. But that's not how life works, is it? And you and I both know that. I don't know why life isn't fair, but it's not, is it? I wish that I could tell you that life is a simple equation. You do this, you get that. Every time. But that's not life. Sometimes we put in the hard work, the sweat, the tears. We plant the seeds, and never a tree. We apply for the job, do all of our research, give an impeccable interview. We start the business, we put in the work, we make all the right connections. We're the first to go into a relationship and say, I love you to this person, and it doesn't go our way. And maybe that's sexism or racism or homophobia. Maybe it's bad timing. Maybe it's just bad luck. I don't know. But that's life, isn't it? There is no guarantee. There is no certainty. I'm part of a generation that was told, you go to school, you get an education, and when you graduate, there's a good job waiting for you. You'll be able to buy a house. Life is going to be peaches and cream. That's what my generation was told. And that's not how it turned out, is it? Instead, we got saddled with unprecedented student loan debt. We can't afford a home. We've put off having kids. We planted the tree, and they planted the seed, and goddamn it, there's no tree. What do we do about that? How do we manage ourselves in the face of that type of uncertainty, that kind of unknowing, where we're taking all the risk and the reward is completely unknown? Do we start shooting CEOs in the back? Do we burn it all down? Do we have our own revolution? Easy answers are in short supply, and it seems like uncertainty is available in abundance. And if you're paying attention to AI and what's going on with AI, you know that the next few years there's going to be a lot more uncertainty. What do we do? I don't know, but here's what I do know. I'm going to commit to looking for evidence of miracles and inviting more of them into my life. And that's not a cop-out, by the way. That's not some woo-woo bullshit where I'm burying my head in the sand. That's not what that is. If you've ever tried to work on yourself, develop yourself, you know that it's not a cop-out. You know how hard that is. What I know for sure is that if we don't plant the seed, we most certainly will not get the tree. Garth Brooks, the great Garth Brooks, he said, some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. That's a hard one to accept. It's a hard one to realize. It's a hard one to allow. And yet we pray anyway, don't we? We plant the seed anyway. We jump without knowing where we're going to land. It's our faith in action. And in a world that seems increasingly difficult to understand, I do think that some things are still very simple. Some things are still certain. One of those is what Gandhi told us. He said, we are to be the change that we want to see in the world. The idea, they're not really sure that he said that exact thing, but the idea and how that got attributed to him was from this more elaborate idea that he said. He said, if we could change ourselves, the tendencies of the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change toward him. We need not wait to see what others do. We don't have to wait and see what everybody else does or where everybody else takes us or what everybody else does. We just need to take care of what's right here. I hope you'll join me this week as we explore the miracles that exist when we look for them. There are so many miracles that exist in our lives, and in our lives in this time when there is so much uncertainty, there are still miracles. If we just open our eyes and look for them and invite more of those into our lives. So have faith. Be on the lookout for miracles, and let's invite more of them into our lives. And may you have joy, peace, and happiness, good health and well-being, a life of ease and prosperity, the courage to get what you want from this life, the clarity to know what that is, the imagination to not sell yourself short, and the discipline to see it through.